Okay, today we're doing a food tier list. Fast food or whatever. Not all of them are fast food, I don't think would class as, but who knows? There's a mix of mostly UK and USA based food places, most of which are like chains, some of which are not chains and are like one off places, I think. But I just wanted to include whatever I could find. There's about 67 or something of these. And yeah, a lot of them are zoomed in, so hopefully I can recognize the logo from the half written words here. We have these right here, these tiers, which are going to go from dog shit to meh, decent, solid, and creme de la creme. And also we have some Lithuanian advertisement on the side because I'm not quite sure why, because we're not even connected to Lithuania on my VPN. Let's see if we can zoom this in a little bit. And it actually gets rid of the advertisement if I do that. If I zoom in once more, does that block off much? Not really. We can be this zoomed in, and that's a lot better actually. Um, and you may get this occasional flying dragon for some reason advertisement. Okay, if I go to there, that's probably the best view we have. Let's crack on with this list. The first one, we have Bucks. Bucks is an American style place from what I can gather, which is one that I've been to specifically in Coventry in the UK, which is kind of like, I guess, the Midlands of the UK. I don't know how many like restaurants there are of Bucks. I tried to Google it and it kind of seemed like there was just like a few around, mostly within like the Coventry area. But I have been to Bucks. There's like four things on the menu. Like three of the four things are like chicken based, and the fourth thing is a burger. Very simple, so it doesn't take you long to look at the menu or whatever. And yeah, the chicken's really good. It is like you would get like American style deep fried chicken. It's hard to explain unless you've had it. It's kind of similar to like KFC strips, I guess. But they're more like succulent, I guess. They're really good. Quite similar to other American chain style like chicken places that I've been to. So I'm gonna stick this one in the solid tier. Not quite creme de la creme, but like it's certainly somewhere that I would go to if I was in the area. And yeah, Bucks overall is just a pretty solid place to go to. Next up on the list, by the way, just completely random, we have JD Weatherspoons in the UK, which is a very popular like pub chain in the UK. The Weatherspoons, or Spoons as most Brits will call it, pretty much a very cheap place to go and eat. The beers as well in there are very cheap. You can get a pint for like a few quid. And overall, like the food is decent, but it's not like the best quality. But certainly you can get yourself like chicken wings, or you can get like curries, and what else can you get? Like fish and chips and burgers. Everything in there is like pub grub. It's very like mid tier food level. Um, if we're looking at just the food, not like the beer or anything in the Weatherspoons, it's certainly somewhere that I don't mind going for food. If somebody offered it, let's go to the Spoons for, or let's go to Spoons for like a meal or something, like midday kind of time. Like I certainly wouldn't be against it. But it's not like my first choice, but it's certainly like a decent place to just sit down, relax, have a pint, have some food, and just chill, chat with your friends or whatever. Especially if you're like hungover, that seems to be quite a popular place to go to after the night of when you've had like a heavy night out. I'm gonna put it in decent. I don't think it's anything more than that. I normally go for chicken strips, chicken wings, that kind of thing. Like pretty like basic stuff really. The fries in there are pretty decent as well. But it's all round a decent mid-tier place to go and eat. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it as like a really decent place, but I also wouldn't condone going there either. It's just mid-tier. Um, in the USA, Johnny Rockets is at least a thing in Vegas. I saw it all over Vegas, and so I tried it in a few places, and it is, I don't know, like 1950s, 1960s style diner kind of place, like old school vibes. They do really, really good milkshakes. The food is pretty good as well. What have I had from there? Like waffle fries. I've had the burgers. It's a pretty decent place. I would say Johnny Rockets is as well in the decent mid tier. A little bit expensive, but that's kind of the same for most American fast food places in my experience. Yeah, Johnny Rockets is somewhere that I would definitely eat again if I was in the area, but also wouldn't be my top priority or like my top choice if I was there and there were like other choices around either. The Win in Las Vegas. I'm pretty sure this is like a one-off thing, but I wanted to include it anyway. The Wynn Las Vegas buffet specifically, really nice buffet, and the reason I include it because it is very popular. Really nice buffet. It's pretty much one of the most popular buffets within Vegas, and it has like all this like selection of seafood. I did a like video of like a food tour walking around the buffet when we were there, and the video was 6 minutes long of me just walking and showing off all the food. You had all this kind of like different Alaskan crab, and you had sushi, and you had Mongolian beef, and you had ice creams and cakes, and you name it, it was there. Like I tried caviar there. There was Wagyu beef. There was all sorts. I will say it's $75 just to sit in. So pretty much the buffet is $75, and then you have drinks on top. And we paid like $32 each for unlimited beers, so you can do that. So then now you're looking at around $105 or something. And then obviously you got a tip on top of that as well, like you're doing anywhere in the US. Especially if it's like sit down, not so much for like these fast food places. So yeah, for 4 people, we went to a buffet and we spent over $500. So very expensive. Again, I think I'm gonna have to put the Wynn buffet in decent because it was a decent place. It wasn't solid. I don't think I would call it solid. The food was good quality, and to be fair, the decor was. I might have to move up to solid, although it was really expensive. I'm not quite sure about that one. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll move it later. I'm not sure. And let's just see, make sure everything is going good. Seems so. The next one on the list is Gute, which is a place that I visited in the Czech Republic, specifically in Ostrava. And Gute is actually a Vietnamese food place in the Czech Republic. I think it's a chain, and pretty much like in the Czech Republic, they have a lot of Vietnamese like food, similar to how we have a lot of Chinese's here in the UK, for example. Vietnamese is just the Asian food of choice, I guess, in the Czech Republic, and you see Guti around quite often, or at least in my experience, it was around quite often. Guti was quite good. I did only try it within like a shopping center kind of place. The food was pretty decent. I ate the whole thing. It was actually really nice. So I'm gonna put it in the decent section. Um, Not really much else to say about that. It was a decent level of spice as well, if I remember correctly, like a decent amount of spice. We have up next. I don't know how much is going to go in these bottom two tiers, by the way. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll rejig the tiers or something later. Harry Ramsden's. So for those of you who don't know, this is a British like fish and chips place that you find quite often on like seaside resorts, especially like when I think Harry Ramsden's, I think a lot of like Bournemouth, because I'm pretty sure it's Bournemouth where I've been to the Harry Ramsden's, maybe Brighton as well. But pretty much Harry Ramsden's. They are other places as well. Like you won't just see them at seaside resorts, but Harry Ramsden's is like a bit more of an expensive kind of. Oh, I don't know if I would say posh, but like just a bit more fancy fish and chip place. But it is just fish and chips. It's nothing else on that. And to be honest, like if you were to compare it to like a fish and chip takeaway place, um, and if you're gonna like compare prices and things as well, I think Harry Ramsden's is a little bit expensive. And I think just for the sakes of this list, I'm also gonna pop this in the meh because it is tasty. I do like it. It wouldn't be my first choice of fish and chip places just because of the price. You get to sit down and you have your fish and chips or whatever, but it's a lot more expensive in my experience than if you were to go to a like a chippy to go in, grab a bag, fish and chips or whatever, and walk away and just have it while you're walking or whatever on these seaside resorts. Harry Ramsden's, I think, is just for people with a bit more money who just want that sit down experience. But from what I can remember, and it's been quite some time since I've been to one, but from what I can remember, it's pretty much just fish and chips. There's nothing too extravagant about it. Bird Box. I don't even know if this is the right like thing for the company I went to, but I wanted to include it because it was really, really tasty. So in San Francisco, there is a chicken sandwich shop called Bird Box, which I was recommended to by my friend, and yeah, it was just really tasty. So similar to Bucks, Bird Box has like a menu of like 4 or 5 different things from what I can remember. Maybe there was a little bit more options because I remember actually they had like fries and things, but the menu wasn't too massive. And normally when you have a place with a shorter menu, it means that they specialize more in those few things. Um, Bird Box was really good. It's pretty much just like a brioche bun, chicken sandwich, whatever. But the chicken was like huge, and I don't know, it was just like super tasty. Whatever oil they cooked in, it was just perfect. I actually really liked Bird Box. If I ever go back to San Francisco, I'm going back to Bird Box just for the sakes of trying these chicken sandwiches again. I'm putting this in creme de la creme because I actually really thoroughly enjoyed it. The only shame for me, and it's nothing to do with Bird Box, was that I'd eaten just before I got to Bird Box, because when you're in America, you just want to try as much food as possible. And so I would be eating like breakfast and then lunch, but then in between those two, I'd be eating, is that brunch? Breakfast, brunch, lunch, and then like whatever you'd call like between lunch and dinner. And then I'd be having dinner as well, and then dessert and supper and snacks. And you eat so much, and so you're constantly full. And then there's me trying to ram down a chicken sandwich, like an insane sized chicken sandwich for what I'm used to for British portions, just after I'd eaten like an hour ago. So yeah, Bird Box I would put in the creme de la creme because I had no issues with it. The people were super nice as well, and also I asked for without sauce and they gave me without sauce, which is just a personal preference. But yeah, really good place. I would recommend for anyone who's in San Francisco to check it out. The only issue is it is a little bit away from like the more touristy area, so you do have to kind of get there somehow. We used public transport, so I had to burp there. Yeah, we use public transport to get there because it's quite far to walk. Anyway, Subway is pretty decent. I'm just going to stick it straight in the decent tier. I always go for the exact same sandwich, chicken tikka, foot long, with the vegetables that I like, cucumbers, jalapenos, peppers, onions, sweet corn, that kind of thing, lettuce. And then I also normally go for the spicy sauce, which I think is habanero sauce or whatever spicy sauce they have at Subway. I always forget. Decent sandwich though. I have tried some of the other sandwiches, also pretty decent as well. I wouldn't really put it in solid or creme de la creme because it's just a standard, in my opinion anyway, standard place. Although if I was to compare it, I actually would prefer Subway over like Weatherspoons, for example, I think. But it depends what mood I'm in, because if I fancy something a bit more like cooked, like chicken strips, obviously Weatherspoons is the place. But if I fancy something a bit more like sandwich related, it's Subway. So actually, yeah, it really depends on the mood that I'm in. I'll leave it there for now, but it's potential I could move Subway up to the solid tier. We'll just see how the tiers go. Cosmos is the next one. This is a buffet in the UK. There's one in Oxford, that's near me. They also have one in Reading, one in I think Coventry. There's a few about, and Cosmos is a pretty decent buffet in my opinion. You have like your different sections for like different parts of the world. You have like your Japanese section, Mexican section, Chinese section, English section, your desserts. There's probably other foods as well. I've not been for a few years, but I did go through a phase where we go to Cosmos pretty much like every week with me and a few friends. And Cosmos, in my opinion, was always pretty decent. Sometimes the food was a little bit lackluster. That is to say, like the food was sometimes not great, especially if you go a little bit later and the food's not freshly cooked. It's just been sat there for a while. It could be a bit cold, or just, I don't know, the quality's not that great. But for the price of whatever, I can't even remember how much it is now, but for the price back then when we tried Cosmos, and for the obviously the buffet layout of things, I think Cosmos is really good. Personally, I quite enjoy a buffet. I would not say it's as good as the Wynn's buffet in Las Vegas, not by a long shot actually, because a lot more fancy at the Wynn and whatnot. But Cosmos, I will put it in decent. I've had other buffets which would have gone in the meh section, which are not included on this list, I don't think. But yeah, we'll put it in decent as well. And we seem to be racking up a lot of decents. Chick-fil-A. I tried Chick-fil-A only once, and it was in Maui in Hawaii. And there's been so many chances for me to try Chick-fil-A, and every time I've just like had other foods instead. And I think it's Chick-fil-A where I've tried on a Sunday and they've been closed. I think it's Chick-fil-A where they're closed on a Sunday. It's either Chick-fil-A or another American chicken place. But anyway, I have tried it once in Maui in Hawaii, and I was very happy with the results. I just had a spicy chicken burger. There was no bullshit with like the sauces and the gherkins and the whatever else you chuck in a burger. It was just a chicken sandwich with the bun and the chicken, and that's it, which is how I like it. A lot of people probably think that's too plain, but I like it exactly like that. You get what you order, not with all these extra, shit on top. I also had fries as well. The fries were decent, but it was the chicken sandwich, a spicy chicken sandwich that I really liked. So I'm going to move Chick-fil-A into the solid tier. Next up, a place in Las Vegas I went to called El Burrito. I can't read this. Burro Borracho. El Burro Borracho, which is the drunken donkey or drunk donkey. And pretty much this is within the Rio Hotel. It was just before we went to go see Penn and Teller. And we decided to eat at this like burrito place. And a similar story to, which one was it? Similar story to Bird Box. I'd eaten not long before, so I was quite full. So I only had a small dinner. I think I had fajitas, but they were so fucking good. I think I'm gonna have to put it in the solid tier. Yeah, it was just really, really good. I mean, I think you get like amazing Mexican food in the US, and so yeah, that goes there. The person I was with as well, they had, I can't remember what they had, but they had like some huge sandwich thing. Actually, thinking about it, that looked amazing as well. El Burro Borracho, mwah, really, really good. Rock and Brews. Now, I don't know where exactly in America this is, apart from Florida, which is where we went to Rock and Brews. It was like the first place we went to on one of the trips we went there, not long after we landed at Orlando International. So there's a Rock and Brews near the Orlando International somewhere. I don't exactly know where, but that's the one we went to. I don't know if Rock and Brews is in other states or whether it's just Florida specific. But I really like Rock and Brews. I am a rock and metal fan myself, and so the decor of it itself, personally, I think is just like a bonus. Before you even walk in, or whatever, there's rock theme. Like musicians and guitars and that kind of thing. The food as well was really good. I'm trying to think what I had. I had some kind of burger. We had just landed, so I was all really tired, but amazing. So I've got to say that Rock and Brews has got to go in the solid tier, which now equals up solid and decent so far in terms of how many we got in each. Taco Bell. I like Taco Bell, but I must say the sizes are quite small, and it's quite a shame that an American made like chain, I'm pretty sure it's USA based. It could be, I guess, somewhere else, but I'm pretty sure Taco Bell is USA like based. For something that's based in the US, is the portions are just so small, and so you have to order like 3 or 4 different like things in order to get like a decent fill. Um, yeah, the food quality is like average. I like it, but like if we're looking at like everything objectively or whatever, like it is average food quality, and I'm gonna put it in the meh. I would definitely eat at Taco Bell, but I guess there are other like fast foods that I would eat over Taco Bell personally. And I would also prefer like going to other like I guess Mexican places over Taco Bell as well if I had the choice. Up next on this list we have Slim Chickens, which is an American place that's based in Louisiana. In the UK we have some in like Cardiff and in Milton Keynes and some other places that I've been to. Slim Chickens is really nice, and I actually rate it quite high as well. Decent selection on the menu. They actually have some sauces which I like, which isn't quite typical because there's a lot of sauces that I don't typically eat. But yeah, there's some pretty decent spicy sauces there. I can't remember the exact names of them. But you get chicken strips as well from Slim Chickens, which I've had, and you always get like a piece of toast as well, which is quite different and almost unique. I quite like Slim Chickens, and I've been quite a few times now. I'm gonna rate Slim Chickens in either the solid or creme de la creme. I might actually put it up creme de la creme. Honestly, it's for me personally. It's just like a really really good place, and I would go there over somewhere like KFC, for example, in a heartbeat. And talking of chicken strips and that kind of thing, Raising Cane's. I went to one in Las Vegas on the Strip, and Raising Cane's is just as good as Slim Chickens. It may actually even be better than Slim Chickens. It's going straight in the creme de la creme because Raising Cane's is really, really fucking amazing. I think Raising Cane's also has like a limited menu of like 5 things or 7 things or something. It's pretty much just chicken strips. I think there's also an option of like a burger or something. The fries as well, pretty decent, pretty standard. But yeah, it's all about the chicken. There's something about the chicken that you get in places like Slim Chickens and Raising Cane's that just like they're succulent, and in Bucks as well. They're just so succulent and like really really nice that you don't quite get elsewhere in places that aren't like American styled. Um, yeah, it's hard to say, but I just love like that style of chicken when it's just like really succulent and really like tasty. Yeah, these places are really good. Waffle House, um, such a dive. I've been to a Waffle House in Orlando, and we didn't even eat there because we walked in, we had a look at the menu. The place felt really like dingy, really like it was a dive. It was like really like I don't know, just didn't feel safe. We were with kids, and it didn't feel safe to have the kids there. And we looked at the menu. Nobody found a single thing that they liked on the menu. Also, the menu had no waffles on it. So we were just like, well, this place fucking sucks. And so we're going. So I haven't eaten at a Waffle House. So I would be inclined to change my opinion. But Waffle House is going in the dog shit, making the first appearance in the dog shit tier. Yeah, apologies if you like Doghouse, Waffle House. But I'm just not a fan. Ole Red, place in Las Vegas we went to. I think there was a few different places with the same name. Pretty much you have like food, drinks, as well as live country music playing there as well. When we went, I was quite tired, so it was a little bit difficult for me to enjoy fully like the experience of like the live music and everything. But the food was fantastic. We'll say kind of expensive, but the food was really really good. I had, what did I have? Honey and something waffles with chicken waffles with honey on, something like that. Yeah, it was really good experience, and with the live music as well. I don't know if the live music should really come into play here or not. But I'm gonna put it in solid. I think it's a more better experience than like these ones in the decent, and obviously it's a bit more of a sit down place as opposed to like a fast food takeaway place. So obviously that has a bit more of like a thing for it because obviously the food's going to be slightly better. But yeah, I don't know. Ole Red was really good. I would go back to try it again at some point. Nando's. I don't know if you have Nando's in the US, but in the UK we have Nando's. It's a Portuguese chicken shop place, restaurant thing. The chicken, I really like the chicken, but like a lot of people critique it, saying that the chicken is over grilled. In my opinion, it's really nice. Actually, there has been times where I've been to Nando's, not for my meal, but for people who I've been with. Their meal has been undercooked. That has to kind of put something right here to like knock it down a tier or something. It hasn't happened for a while, but I do remember at least 3 different occasions where I've been with people and they've cut into their chicken and they're like, oh, that's just undercooked. I'm going to have to send that back. I've been to Nando's many times myself. I've been to Nando's in at least 2 or 3 different countries, and the experience I've always had has been quite universally good. I've enjoyed Nando's. They have like spicy rice as a side. They have like creamy mash. They have like chicken and fries and like all sorts. Pretty decent meals all round. Like I said, I've never had a bad experience. I've never had overcooked or undercooked. It's always been just right for me. I would personally put Nando's in the solid. I think because of what I mentioned about like the food in the past being like undercooked for friends of mine that I've known and been with, that has to knock it down to the decent. I'm not really doing it in any like order here, but if I was, I would put it up like top end of decent. But because it's not in any particular order, maybe I'll order it later. I don't know. But for now, just leave it like that. But it's in the decent section, and yeah, that's pretty much Nando's. But if it was my choice, I'd put it up. Well, it is my choice, but you know what I'm saying. I'd put it up in the solid if I had less experiences in person of seeing other people's food being undercooked, pretty much. Angus Steakhouse. I've been to a few of these in Orlando, and these have always been pretty good. I haven't been to any in like 10 years or something crazy, so I don't know how much different they are now compared to what they used to be. But I'll put it up in the solid tier. Steakhouse, pretty decent steakhouse from what I can remember. Yeah, they're pretty standard. Get your steak. Here's Angus Steakhouse. Hard Rock Cafe. I've been to many Hard Rock cafes. They're all pretty much the same. They're quite expensive, but just like with Rock and Brews in Orlando, I just enjoy the decor of somewhere like Hard Rock Cafe. There's always memorabilia from like rock bands, and not always necessarily rock, but sometimes you have like like pop bands or like other music artists anyway, and you have like their guitars or drum cymbals or clothing or like like handwritten lyrics, for example. Like whatever it is, like you'll find something in Hard Rock cafes. That's like obviously like surrounded by like the musicians, which are typically hard rock, I was going to say, which are typically rock musician orientated, but sometimes there are memorabilia items from like other artists which aren't necessarily rock, but maybe like pop or whatever. Food itself, though, as well, decent. In some countries, it's better than others. In the US, you get the greasiest burgers, which is just a US thing anyway. But like, I went to the Hard Rock Cafe in Honolulu, in Hawaii. The burger was super greasy. San Francisco, the burger was super greasy. But then if I go to the Hard Rock Cafe in like Stockholm, Sweden, for example, then it's not greasy and it's just right. But it's more expensive in somewhere like Sweden, from what I can remember. It was quite expensive there. Um, and if I go to Hard Rock Cafe and like wherever else I've been, like Berlin for example, pretty standard food. But again, it's not greasy. It's just like an American thing. So if you go to Hard Rock Cafe in the US, you get a burger. Like I'm talking, you pick up the burger and it's pissing like a tap with grease. So yeah, that's just an American thing. Overall, Hard Rock Cafe is a pretty decent place to go eat. Has some decent food on offer and decent sized portions, in my opinion. I'm putting the Hard Rock Cafe in the solid tier. Not quite making the creme de la creme, I don't think. I'm not sure if I would put it up there. Um, I don't know. I think solid for sure. Like I said, I'll reevaluate later on. Brewers Fair. Pretty much. I can't remember the last time I ate at one of these, but Brewers Fair is like a British thing, like pub chain thing, I think. Uh, in my experience, the food has always been fucking dog shit. So we're gonna add that to the Waffle House in the dog shit tier. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can remember, to be honest. Brewers Fair. Hooters. I normally get chicken wings at Hooters. Hooters chicken wings are pretty decent. I'm trying to think what else I have had from there. Maybe chicken strips. Um, Hooters is a pretty decent place. Obviously, it's the USP is like chicks with big honkers and whatever. That's kind of the thing. You can see it in the logo with the owl with the two eyes being kind of exaggerated. And yeah, but the food itself, in my opinion, pretty good in Hooters. I'm going to put Hooters in the solid tier. Miller and Carter Steakhouse. This is a British thing. I'm going to put Miller and Carter Steakhouse up in the creme de la creme. In my opinion, it's a really good steakhouse. I have had once where the meal wasn't as good as normally it has been. That was on a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I think New Year's Day meal. So maybe, it might have been because they were super busy or something. I'm not quite sure. But other than that one meal, like I've always had like really succulent steaks, and like the beef dripping that you put on top is just really good. You also get like a onion loaf. Is it called onion loaf or something like that? It's like a rectangular piece of onion, and it's like almost a like onion bhaji kind of thing. It's just so good. It's just so good. I really like it. Yeah, and the vibe as well is just like super fancy. So I really like Miller and Carter Steakhouse, and I'm putting it personally up in the creme de la creme. However, Toby Carvery, somewhere that I used to go more often back in the day than I do now. In my town, where Toby Carvery used to be in the same building, is now the Miller and Carter. Toby Carvery has, well, I keep burping a lot. Miller and Carter has taken over Toby Carvery in terms of the building. What I was meant to say was Toby Carvery in my town has closed down, so I don't go anymore. But I used to go a few times back in college for like cheapish meals. It's pretty much just somewhere that you get like like meats and veg and stuff, like your typical British like carvery food. But the Toby Carvery, it's not the greatest. Like it's not as good as say a home cooked meal, for example. I'm gonna put it in the decent, but like it's no better personally for me than that. The Beefeater. Um, I went to the Beefeater. What did I get? I had fish and chips, which was really rank. I didn't finish it, and it's not like me to not finish food. I had calamari, which the calamari was actually quite nice, but it wasn't as nice as other places like Miller and Carter, for example, with their calamari. Um, Beef eaters are typically only places I would eat at when there's no other option. So like if you're at a hotel at an airport the day before you're flying and there's just no other option, you're just gonna go down to the lobby of the hotel and you're gonna eat a beef eater in that hotel because it's the only place to eat. I don't know if I want to put it. I'm gonna put it dog shit because it's not even as good as like Taco Bell or Harry Ramson's. Um, yeah, it just belongs in that dog shit tier, honestly. IHOP, I love IHOP. It maybe because like we don't have it in the UK, and so whenever I go to the USA, it's kind of like this is like oh, this is such an American thing, and I don't know, like maybe there's like a nostalgia or something there for me because obviously over the years as I've gone to the US, we've always gone to IHOP, and I always try different things. I've tried like the strawberry pancakes, the chocolate pancakes. I've tried all the different variations of milkshakes that I do, the chicken waffles. Oh god, there's so many things that I've tried from IHOP, and like they have burritos as well, which I've tried, omelets. Like the menu at IHOP is huge, and the food is, in my opinion, like really good. It may just be a typical American diner for most people who live in America, but I personally really like IHOP, and there's not often that I would say no to an IHOP. I'm gonna put IHOP in the solid tier. Don't even care. Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is gonna go into the decent. It is quite a nice place. The decor is really cool, really unique to like the southern states of the US. So in Orlando, we've been to Cracker Barrel many times, and like we like it. For me personally, there's just not a lot of food in there that I enjoy like fully. It's not quite the food that I would go for personally. There's a lot. I can't even remember the menu. There's like what Americans call biscuits, which the English people would call scones or scones. Um, there's like white gravy that they sell. They have like potato pancakes. Like there's some like peculiar stuff on the menu. I don't mind going there. I quite like the little shop that you go through before you go into like the food place itself, and I like all the like the rocking chairs and like the games of drafts that you play. Um, but the food itself, like it's mid for me personally. I would prefer going to some of these decent places over a Cracker Barrel, but it's also the vibe as well of the place. Panda Express, I'm gonna put in meh. I love Chinese food, so I'm gonna be quite critical of Panda Express. Meh is super expensive. We had like a typical Panda Express takeout ordered to us via Just Eat, which in America I can't remember what you call Just Eat now. Doesn't matter. Um, the delivery app that's like all orange and stuff. We had it delivered via that, and it came to like $80 because like I don't know, in America like you pay like four or five different like things, like tip and tax and this and that and the other or whatever service charge, and it's crazy. But we had a Panda Express, didn't really think much of it. Like the portion sizes were quite small for what we paid. Yeah, the food was okay, a little bit subpar, but like Chinese food, I love Chinese food, so it's quite hard for me to find Chinese food that I don't like, I guess, because I'll just eat whatever. But yeah, Panda Express didn't really live up to expectations personally. So I'm gonna put it in the meh. I wouldn't even put it up any higher personally. Pizza Hut, quite enjoy Pizza Hut from time to time. Haven't been since I was about 16, but decent. You can get like I don't know, like I think like a midday buffet or something. You can choose like different sizes of pizzas. I'm gonna put it in the decent. Like it's not my go-to pizza place, whereas Domino's would be my go-to pizza place personally. We're gonna put Domino's up into solid. And now we have In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger I've tried only once. I went for the double double. Is it called the double double? The the bigger burger anyway. The double double with a milkshake and fries. Pretty good. I had loaded fries, but I had them without like sauce, so it's pretty much just cheese and bacon. I think it was. That was pretty good. Yeah, In-N-Out Burger's gonna go into the solid tier as well. We went to the one in Las Vegas, or one of the ones in Las Vegas on this trip. And yeah, I thought In-N-Out Burger was pretty good. I will say very overhyped though. Like a lot of people hype up In-N-Out Burger. Don't know if I would quite hype it up so much. White Castle. I want to try White Castle again, so I'm happy to change my opinion on this. But White Castle has got to go in one of the two bottom tiers, either dog shit or meh, because I went to White Castle in New York City in 2015 and I tried some like sliders. I tried some, I don't know, some like fried shrimp, I think it was. I tried some little bits here and there. Now I get it now that like sliders are meant to be small. But at the time I was kind of expecting them to be bigger, and so only ordered like one. I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? And then the meat itself is just so shit. I really didn't like it. I'm gonna move it down to dog shit. It was actually like thinking about the meat was so processed. It was so awful. Um, but the thing is, I see White Castle in like Vegas and stuff, and it's like super like busy, popular. Like loads of people constantly in there, and it's like, well, is there something that I'm missing? Maybe I was too critical of it. I'm not sure. But yeah, especially as you know, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, I was kind of hyping it up, and yeah, it was really not that good. Mr. Beast Burger. I'm gonna go meh for Beast Burger. It's overhyped. Obviously, it's a YouTuber product. I was really hoping it'd be better than it was. I tried the Carl Burger, was it? Or Chandler Burger, one of the two, where they had the inverted buns. So it was just inverted bun, cheese, and burger. And yeah, I don't know. It was expensive. I didn't think much of it. It was not a great portion size. I must have had something else as well. I had a grilled cheese something or other. The thing is, I was eating it thinking this is just they're making a product just to make more money. Like they don't really care about the product itself. Um, so I can't rate it any more than that. I would much prefer going to like any one, like Panda Express, Taco Bell, or Harry Ramson's over Beast Burger, as well as anything else on this list above Beast Burger currently. Cafe Nero is a cafe place in the UK. It's similar to like Starbucks or Costa, which is on this list as well. Which, to be honest, I look at all three of them the same way. Spoiler alert. As well as Pret. Actually, all four of them are on this list. The thing is, I'm not really much of a coffee guy. In fact, I fucking hate coffee. I don't really like hot drinks. I'll have a hot chocolate. That's about it. I think these kind of places are over like they're too expensive for what they sell and what they do. The Cafe Nero place does do good food. Um, but I did have one of their cooked sandwiches, which I think had mayonnaise in it, so that kind of put me off. But I did buy a second one, which then didn't. It was like a bacon roll. It was like a decent amount of bacon, so I'm gonna put it in the meh. I'm not a big fan of these kind of places, to be honest, but it was good for the particular situation I was in, where I just landed at Stansted in the UK in London, and there was no other place open apart from a Cafe Nero. Harvester. In the UK, we have a pub chain. I think it's a pub chain called Harvester. They do food. Food's pretty whack. I'm going to put it in the meh. Wagamama. Wagamama it's like Asian style food. I'm going to put it in the decent. Um, I prefer Nando's over Wagamama. There's always that kind of thing of like people comparing them. So I'm going to say that I prefer Wagamama. I prefer Nando's over Wagamama even. The snail and cabbage. JK, just the Slug and Lettuce is a, where did I put it there? Slug and Lettuce is a place in the UK. I'm going to put it in the decent section. It's pretty much like a chain, a pub chain. They do fancy-ish food. Like in my experience of like going to them, cocktails are quite nice and the food is a little bit better than typical pub grub. So actually I might put it in the solid because of that. Like it is a bit more fancier. I can't remember what the prices are like, but Slug and Lettuce is quite a decent place. It doesn't quite make creme de la creme. Pret. The food's okay. It's not. I'm gonna put it in meh. Just because, yeah, like I've already explained with Cafe Nero, is a very similar thing. Pret a manger. It's the same kind of food, same kind of concept. Here's your coffee that we're gonna charge you £7 for or whatever. I don't know. What do you want? A mocha, a cappuccino, an espresso, a this, a that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get into coffee culture, okay? So that's just a very biased way of looking at it. But Yo Sushi is up next, and it's not my favorite sushi place. I do like Yo Sushi. I will put it in the decent. I do find the sushi at Yo Sushi a little bit not as fresh as other sushi spots that, I have been to. And I don't think I got any other sushi places on this list because this is all. I got one more, Itsu. Yeah, Yo Sushi is in the decent. I like the whole conveyor belt thing, which I can't remember what they call it, but the conveyor belt sushi like a layout. But it is quite expensive as well. Like you can rack up your money quite quickly at Yo Sushi. But I've had better experiences in other sushi spots, so we're gonna put it in a decent section. Popeyes, another Louisiana kitchen, as well as Slim Chickens over here. Popeyes is really good. For some crazy reason, in the US but not in the UK, when you order your chicken, you get what Americans again call biscuit, which we call scones. Yeah, like it's decent. In the UK, Popeyes would be a decent. In the US, I'm gonna put Popeyes in the solid. Honestly, like Popeyes is quite a good place in the US, but then maybe because of certain ingredients that you can't get in the UK. Maybe I'm not really too sure why it's different in the UK. But it's like it feels like it's all frozen. It's been fried frozen, so like the batter is like all crumbly and I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite as good. But when I need my Popeyes fix, I don't live too far away from one. Maybe half an hour drive. Dunkin' Donuts, decent. I've had a Dunkin' Donuts once in Miami, and I quite liked what I had. But obviously, it's sweet treats. It's not quite the same as you getting cooked food. But I did have a bag of bacon, which I quite liked that because I just fancied bacon in the morning. And yeah, Dunkin' Donuts give you that option. Sizzler, it's going in the meh. I like the fact that it's a buffet style place for breakfast, lunch, dinner. It used to be back in the day like super cheap, but Sizzler is nowadays a bit more expensive. We have been more recently, and since I've grown up and since my taste buds has become more developed, I realised places such as Sizzler and somewhere else on this list, which we'll get to in a bit, they just get the shittest quality food possible and put it on the buffet, of course, because obviously you have, for like $11 I think is what a Sizzler costs now. They're just gonna like give you pretty much unlimited food. My brain went blank there for a second. Yeah, but I do like some of the drinks they do there. But it's just like you get like these big chickens from like places like Sizzler, and you eat it, then the skin is like really nice, but then like the chicken itself, it just tastes like it's injected with water or something, and it's just like awful. And I remember eating it like a couple years ago at Sizzler, I think it was, and we were just there like, this is actually really, really fucking shit. There's one that I just missed out on this list as well, by the way, called Golden Corral. If I had it, I'd just put it next to Sizzler in the meh, in case you're wondering. Golden Corral. And next up we have Outback Steakhouse. It's apparently an Australian themed place. I don't actually know if you have it in Australia, but it's certainly a place you find in the US. We've been to it in Florida, in Vegas, and I really like the Outback Steakhouse. I'm going to put it in the creme de la creme. Surprisingly, The creme de la creme looks a little bit empty there. I'm going to put Outback up there because the steaks are really good. You have this like chili with cheese kind of thing as like more of a starter dish, but I really like that as well. They have this thing called the blooming onion, which is like this huge, I don't know how they make it, but this huge onion, which is like this big or whatever, and it's just like all battered and it's just like super good. Yeah, super tasty. I've never been disappointed with an Outback Steakhouse. Ruth's Chris, I think this is Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I put this on here because we went to one in Maui and we were ripped the fuck off. There was no prices on the menu. It looked quite fancy, quite bougie, so we were like, let's go in and have a look. And we also just like, there was nowhere else in Maui to eat at the time as well, because it wasn't too long after like the wildfires that happened in Maui. And yeah, I can't remember how much now, but like it was like £120 or dollars per person before tips and whatever. Just for like a simple meal, like yeah, like one of us had like chicken. What do you call it? I can't remember. It was like a stuffed chicken of some sort. I had a steak. The other person had a steak. I don't know. It was just super expensive. The sizes of the steaks were like 8 ounces as well. They weren't even like big steaks. So comparing Ruth's Steakhouse, in my opinion, compared to like Miller and Carter and Outback and whatever other steakhouses we have on here, honestly, I'm gonna put it in meh, and it's because of the pricing. The food itself was good, but the pricing was just ridiculous. And I remember we walked out there saying we're never going back there. Um, I haven't seen it too many places, but I have seen it in other places in the US, I think. And I just wanted to include it. Like the price alone is just something for me to like say I don't want to go there. But if price wasn't a thing, I would move it up to decent. Um, but yeah, one of us didn't even like the food as well. So like, yeah, when you're paying all that money, you don't even like the food. Yeah, speaks for itself. Papa John's. A lot of people rave about Papa John's. I think it's decent in terms of the taste and everything. It did give me a dodgy stomach the next day, so I can't rate it any higher than a decent personally. But I would prefer like Domino's, Pizza Hut over a Papa John's personally. Burger King, meh. I really don't see the hype with Burger King. I mean, they're called Burger King and they can't even make the best burger. So, yeah. Chicken nuggets, pretty shit. When they make spicy food items, they're never spicy. Um, they do decent fusions, like the ice cream things. That's about it, really. Like, I always go for a double bacon XL meal. The one thing I do like about Burger King is that, like, by standard, without having to ask for without, the burgers don't come with sauces. At least in the UK. In other places, I've been caught out with that one because in Sweden they do come with sauce, um, mayonnaise and ketchup. The Cheesecake Factory. I love the Cheesecake Factory. It's going to go solid. It could even go creme de la creme. I might actually even move it up to creme de la creme. I love the Cheesecake Factory. It is such an amazing place. I know probably Americans look at it as like a average place or whatever. I don't actually know. Maybe Americans also like it, but like compared to what we have here in the UK, like there's just nothing that compares. The cheesecake slices themselves are fucking huge. Um, like I struggle to finish them, and I can eat a lot of cake in one go. I struggle to finish them. But they also do other things as well. Like the menu is like a literal bible. Like it's just like you're spending a week looking through that menu, just seeing all the different things that they do. They do like burgers and burritos and God knows what else, like nachos. Um, yeah, there's just unlimited option at the Cheesecake Factory. The milkshakes are really nice as well. But obviously you go for the cheesecake. That's what I always go there for, and I've never been disappointed with a Cheesecake Factory cheesecake. And I always end up taking it away because of the fact that it's just so big. Love a Cheesecake Factory. I try to go every time I go to the US. Most recent time we went to Vegas a few months ago, and I was really disappointed because we didn't find the time to go. Um, but we did also obviously eat at many other places. But yeah, I was disappointed because I didn't go. So must be in top tier, S tier for me. I am, by the way, quite ill. Or quite ill. I got a sore throat for some reason, so that's why I keep drinking. Right, Jack in the Box. I went to Jack in the Box in Maui, I think. Standard, pretty decent. It's like same tier as, I'm gonna put it there now, McDonald's. Same tier as McDonald's. McDonald's as well. We'll talk about typical fast food place. Certainly nothing above a decent. It's not meh because like it's universal everywhere. I love the chicken nuggets. I love the chicken strips. Um, Yeah, I love the ice creams. There's quite a lot I like about McDonald's, and it's quite easy as well to like edit your food so you can have it with or without like certain things if you go and order yourself or whatever. Jack in the Box is like a similar level to McDonald's, so I'm putting McDonald's there as well. But yeah, like McDonald's, it's like decent. I try not to eat there much anymore because like the food's really bad for you, as well as majority of these places, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, like McDonald's is always there, and you're never too far away from a Golden Arches, regardless of like realistically what country you're in or where you are within said country. They are literally everywhere. Pepe's Piri Piri Chicken. We had these in the UK. I don't know if they're anywhere else. In the UK, they're. I've had it a couple times. It's decent food, decent like thing to eat, but like I would rather eat it when I'm drunk, when I'm not thinking about how bad the food is for you, because it's, I don't know, probably not the best quality food. And yeah, I'm gonna put it in meh personally, but I would eat it like in certain situations. It's kind of like a kebab for me. Like I wouldn't eat a kebab sober, but I would just eat a kebab drunk. It's kind of the same thing with Pepe Peri Peri chicken, I think it's called. But I know a lot of people who would rate it a lot higher as well. PF Chang's creme de la creme. Personally, I love a PF Chang's. It's a really, really good Chinese slash I think Japanese place, but mostly it's Chinese themed. I say Japanese because they do like sushi and a couple of other things on the menu. The menu isn't massive, but they certainly do like a decent amount. It's like a two-sided menu. And that includes like your appetizers, your mains, like everything, as well as drinks. So there's not like an awful lot, but obviously they do your noodles, they do your rice. You got your sushis, you got your ribs and your beefs and whatever else. Your pretty staple like Asian cuisine food things. Um, I just love a PF Chang's. It's somewhere I've been now maybe 6 or 7 times, something like that. I've been in like 3 or 4 different states at this point. And unfortunately, it's just in the States. I've been told there is one in London in the UK, but it just doesn't compare to the US for whatever reason. I don't know because I've not been to the one in the UK. Um, but yeah, I do love a PF Chang's. Juniors. This is a place in New York City. I don't know if it's a one-off place or whether it's like a chain where you have Juniors in like different places, or even if there's multiple locations within New York City. There's a Juniors just off of Times Square in New York City that was really close to the hotel that we stayed at. Like I was able to walk there and grab some cheesecake, and so I had like 4 slices of these huge cheesecake slices, and they were like $10 per cheesecake slice. So that gives you an idea of how big they were. And that's not $10 because it was a rip off New York cheesecake slice, although that probably had something to do with it, but they were huge. They were like size of my head or something. So I went back twice in like 2 days or 3 days or whatever. It was like crazy. I've got to rate Juniors solid. We also had like burgers and other things from Juniors, which was a really good meal. Doesn't quite reach creme de la creme for me personally, but Juniors was really highly rated. And I would put it at the top of solid if we were doing like an actual rating, like within each tier. Greg's. The UK has this bakery place, would you call it? Bakery, patisserie, something like that. Like place which sells sausage rolls and that kind of thing, called Greg's. And they do like sandwiches and like hot drinks, and they do muffins and jam, like tarts and whatever else. Like they just do all these decent things. I love the bakes there. So they do like steak bake. They've just released a chicken. What do you call it? My mind's gone blank. The katsu chicken bake. That's it. Katsu chicken bake, which is, in my opinion, really nice. I've only had one because the bakes are quite fattening, I guess, because of the pastry. But things at Greggs are really nice. I will say, I'll put it in the solid. I will say that you can quite often get food that's cold in Greggs. So, you know, you may order like a steak bake and it could be cold. If you don't like cold food particularly, it may hinder your experience. Well, my personal preference, I don't care if food is cold particularly, but I know some people that's a big deal. But yeah, Greggs is a really decent place. Also, it's super cheap as well, so solid tier for sure. Five Guys burgers are really nice. The fries are fried in like a peanut oil. The milkshakes, oh my god, yeah. Five Guys has got to go, creme de la creme. Five Guys has some really, really nice milkshakes. Peanut butter milkshake I had recently, which was really nice. I want to try peanut butter and bacon milkshake, but like, I haven't seen it on the menu, but I have seen people have it on like YouTube and stuff. So I want to see, maybe that's something you have to like specify for or something. The burgers are really nice. They use like a brioche bun or something. Yeah, Five Guys are like really, really good. Just trying to think if there's much else that you get with your food. Your burgers are wrapped up in tin foil. That's pretty much all I can remember. But Five Guys, really decent place. Pretty much anywhere that's like American chain has got a good chance of being top tier. TGI Fridays. I'm going to put it in decent. I actually can't remember much about TGI Fridays, if I'm going to be honest. But I have been a couple times. I actually don't know if it deserves to go into solid. I'm just trying to look. I think it should go into solid. Looking at everything else, it's like amongst solid tier for TGI Fridays. I do remember enjoying it. It's just I've only been a couple times. There's not really a TGI Fridays near me, and so I don't go all that often. I must have had the calamari, and I must have had like some kind of chicken strips or something. I don't know. In Las Vegas, there was this place called Nacho Daddy. I've no idea again whether this is a one-off or whether it's some kind of chain in the US or at least in the state of Nevada. Nacho Daddy was a really sick place if you like nachos, especially. They also, I think, did like other Mexican food like burritos and that kind of thing. I had a shot where I also drank a scorpion, which was very unique, and yeah, because of that, I must bump it a little bit higher. It did cost me $20 though for one shot. $20 for a shot with a scorpion. Solid. That's if you like your nachos. I had a cheeseburger nacho. It was like a plate that was like this big, and you just there, and nachos with like all the cheeseburger fillings. So you obviously had cheese, and you had like your lettuce and your onions, and you like your burger, but like grounded up. I don't know. They just specialize in like nachos pretty much, and yeah, I really enjoyed Nacho Daddy. Costa Coffee going in the Mare, same as Nero Cafe, Pret a Manger, and is that the last of the Starbucks coffees going in there as well now? While we're here, like slating them, try and get rid of the advertisement. Yeah, Pret a Manger, Cafe Nero, Costa Coffee, Starbucks coffee, they're all over the price that they should be. They're too expensive. You get your shitty little coffee, and you get like food is okay, but yeah, I don't like how much they rape you for like the amount of money they charge you. Hungry Horse, decent. It's the typical British pub place. I don't think they're as popular as they used to be when I was younger. You get your typical pub grub. I used to really enjoy. They used to do like this huge ice cream for a dessert, which used to be called the Candy Mania, I think it was called, and it was like a circular ice cream bowl thing, and it had like a stem. It was like a huge wine glass kind of look to it, and it used to have like a belt of sweets around the outside, and it was way too much for a kid to eat realistically. But I used to love going Hungry Horse when I was younger, but nowadays it's kind of fallen off a little bit. KFC, I'm going to put KFC in the solid. You can only see 2 red stripes there because I chose a bad image for KFC, but I do quite like a KFC. Out of all of like those typical fast food like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, like Subway, whatever, I just enjoy KFC the most. It's the one that I crave the most because it's just like really nice chicken. I love the KFC gravy, dipping my bonus chicken in there and having that. The KFC crush'ems are also really, really fucking nice to have when it's like super hot out. And yeah, KFC just, in my opinion, is just that level above all the other like typical fast food places. Itsu, this place is sushi orientated. I quite like an Itsu. It's better than Yo Sushi. I must put it in the solid tier. Yeah, I quite like it. Unfortunately, sushi places are like quite expensive. But all that aside, you know, you can get like, what was it called? I don't know. You get like some kind of soup. It's like tofu soup, or is it wakame soup or something? I don't know. You can get that. You can get your sushis and whatever, and you just have like a decent meal before you get on like a flight, for example, because you see Itsu in like a lot of airports or, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a decent sushi place to eat at. It's not my favorite again, but like in terms of like chains, it's one of the better sushi chains out there in my opinion. Ponderosa. This is on par with Sizzler. I might have to put in the dog shit though. I actually prefer Sizzler over Ponderosa. Yeah, Ponderosa doesn't really exist anymore. But back in the day, you used to be able to get like a all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet for like $2.99 per person, and that was pretty good back then. But looking back on it, like the food quality was really not that great. But if you're gonna rate it on prices, then it's probably a little bit higher than dog shit. But yeah, Ponderosa just wasn't all that, unfortunately. When I was a kid, I liked it, but looking back on it with adult taste buds and stuff, yeah, it's really not all that. Max is a Swedish fast food place, and you pretty much can compare it to McDonald's, but a cleaner McDonald's. It's a nicer McDonald's, so we're putting it in solid. I liked it. I had a burger from Max, and it was pretty nice. It was quite a big burger as well. Planet Hollywood, I quite liked. I'm putting it in the solid. Planet Hollywood, similar to Hard Rock Cafe, but instead of like rock memorabilia, they have film memorabilia. So, like for example, the bike from the Terminator and other bits like the jacket from films and stuff. The food itself is really good, typical American portion sizes. Yeah, all round, really enjoy it at Planet Hollywood. I've not been to one in quite some time because I think the Planet Hollywood in Orlando may have closed down if I remember correctly. But the building itself used to be a globe, so you used to walk into an actual like globe. As you can see on this picture here, like the building was this pretty much. It was pretty sick. Sides, the Sidemen, food thing. Like they do like burgers and chicken and you know like all that kind of stuff, and they do like sauces and whatever, like waffle fries. You know, I really liked Sides. I've tried it twice, I think. Both times have been really good. Once I drove in person, once I had it delivered, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just unfortunately, I don't live near any like place that does sides, so I have to have it on occasion when I can get sides pretty much. Chucking sides up in the solid tier along with all of these others is way better than Beast Burger. Beast Burger fucking sucks compared to Sides. Sides actually has like decent quality food. Chicken, in my opinion, is a lot closer to the quality of chicken you get in these S tier chicken places that I've rated. Yeah, I just enjoy Sides food from time to time. Shake Shack is going, I think, in solid as well. We've got so many solid food places here. Shake Shack is going here. I really enjoy it. The burgers could do being bigger. Maybe I've only been a couple times, so maybe I haven't ordered the right burger. But it was really good, and I really enjoyed that Shake Shack has a collaboration with Hot Ones, the YouTube channel as well, for like spicy sauces and stuff as well. That was pretty sick. And Pizza Express, I'm not a fan of. It's going in the meh, in all honesty. But I haven't been to a Pizza Express since I was like 12 or something, so this could massively be unjust, as well as maybe a couple on this list. If I was going to try to then organize these in like some kind of order, which I wish now I was doing it as I was going along. The worst one out of all of these, I would say, would probably be Beefeater. White Castle will probably be at the top of these. I think I'll put Brewers Fayre there, and then probably Waffle House down here as well. And then if we were gonna quickly try and do something here, Beast Burger would be a little. No, it wouldn't. What am I saying? I don't actually know. That one, those two or three is probably good up there. Cafe Nero comes down with Pret as well. Harvester is not as good as that or that. That looks about right. Pizza Express can go there. What do I prefer out of these lot? Cracker Barrel's quite good. Nando's. This is actually going to be quite difficult to rate, you know. These are like these are like so numerous that I'm actually kind of not sure how to rate them. So I think if we just move Nando's up there for the minute, Cracker Barrel's got to go there. I would say. Do I prefer Johnny Rockets? Like for food, yeah. Yo Sushi, Wagamama. Wagamama goes a little bit more up. Same with Yo Sushi. Those. McDonald's. Do I prefer McDonald's over them? Probably. Papa John's, Dunkin' Donuts, yes. Pizza Hut, Toby. I would put McDonald's there. I think that's about right, but there may be a little bit of like a switching up. It just depends what mood I'm in. Like Subway, some days could be up here or down there, you know, kind of thing. But I'm gonna leave that there. Solid tier. This is gonna take a while. What do I prefer the most out of this solid tier? Bucks was really nice, to be fair. IHOP is going up there. Hard Rock is going. Where are we putting Hard Rock? Above Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A can go like down here for a minute. Planet Hollywood as well can go next to Hard Rock. Oh god, there's so many things because it's like a mix of like pizza and cheesecake and chicken, and yeah, it's actually kind of difficult to like properly rate these like 100% like definitely. I'm not sure. S tier. We will move Bird Box down towards. Okay. Nothing is. Oh, we can't move any S tier stuff now. There we can. With. What would be my go-to out of all of these? It's really difficult to like. I'm gonna have to scroll up. Miller Carter's going down there with Outback there as well. But would I go Slim Chickens over everything? I think PF Chang's potentially has the option of going up top. Five Guys goes up maybe, but then do I put Cheesecake Factory over them like that? That's such a. I'll probably put Raising Cane's over Slim Chickens, but it's Slim Pickens. It's in to say like it's quite difficult to put them in a particular order, honestly. But something along these lines, I think. Bucks is similar to these, I think. It's just not quite in that order yet. Sides I would have over Max and probably KFC. I would put sides up as high as probably around the Hooters area, probably above Hooters. It's hard to compare like something like sides over Angus Steakhouse though. Yeah, Shake Shack I think deserves to be a little higher as well. Around there, maybe. I don't know. I could like probably sit here all day and I kind of like change up the order and stuff of these things, but realistically, this is something along the lines of like my food tier list, and that's pretty much it. These are all the places I could think of that I've eaten at in recent years. There's probably loads more that I could have included, which I haven't. Yeah, let me know if there's any changes you would make, and that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and bye.